Bayern Munich coming here for Celtic's first knockout match in the Champions League in 12 years. Just how much are you looking forward to the occasion?
Yeah, we're very excited by it. It's a great challenge and a great test for us against a top side. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Some big news last night that you're going to have Dyson Maeda back for this one as well. Just give us your reaction to that.
Well, it's such a great bit of news that we got, obviously, late last night and or early evening it was. Sorry. So no, he's an extraordinary player. I think how he's been this year for us in not just in goals, but what his value gives to the team in terms of his pressing and his honesty to the game. So to have that mentality and that ability available was it was a big surprise for us, but a nice surprise.
Brendan, on him, we see what he does on the pitch. What's he like as a guy? What's he like? I don't know, around the training pitch. Is there an edge to him? What's he like, Dyson Maeda?
Well, like most footballers, they're good people, and as a guy, he's super professional. He's in every day, does his work, does all the right things to prepare himself to be a top professional. He trains as he plays, so he's very intense and gives everything in his training. And obviously, he then takes that personality onto the field. So he's been an absolute joy to work with, and just seeing him develop and grow over the course of the season. I think his ability, his finishing, but add to that, like I say, the work rate and intensity. He's a really, really pivotal player for us.
And on that point about development, you're a development coach. You like to bring players on. What is it in particular that's pleased you about him, and what have you been saying to him to raise his game? Because it looks like he's playing his best football.
No, I think it's just maturity, isn't it? He's getting, he's obviously improving as a player with the experiences and obviously comfort in how we work and how we play. But I go back, I think he scored goals before he came into Celtic. Obviously, Ange brings him in, having worked with him in Japan, so he knows his qualities, he knows everything in his game. And as I said, he was a goal scorer over there, and he's come to here. And it may have taken a little bit of time to get used to the Scottish game and the British game, but you see now he's right in flow. He understands the physicality of the game in these parts of the world, and the physicality at the highest level in European football. So he's well suited to that, and now he's really getting in consistently into positions. And I think what you have with him, I think his conversion rate now is probably something that's improved. I think he's probably always had chances. Now he's been there, but now he arrives with confidence to score, and now his technique and his finishing is top level. The coaches do a brilliant job with him, and in terms of the work, and I try to inspire him and manage him and point out little things within his game. But no, he himself is a learner, and he's learning very well.
And on the wider game tomorrow, how much of a gauge is this of the progress that you've made? You're there on merit. Bayern is going to be arguably your biggest test this season. How much of a test is that, and a gauge of all the progress that you've made at this level in Europe?
I don't think it's a gauge. I think we've already shown progress this season before we kick a ball tomorrow night. I've been really pleased with that side of it. I think over the course of the 8 games, we played Borussia Dortmund, top team, Atalanta, top team, Red Bull Leipzig, who came into the tournament as one of the leading teams. So we've proven in this sort of first season that there's elements to our game that is making progress. But of course, we were in it for the purpose, and the purpose was to get to this stage, past the 8 games. So now we play probably one of the teams that will see themselves as favourites for the competition. Got wonderful talent. Vincent's gone in there and done a really, really good job with some top young players and some really experienced players. And but I can't wait for that, because that's what you look forward to as a coach. And I know we are all as a team looking to look to test ourselves and measure ourselves against an absolutely brilliant team.
Brendan, we all know it's been a long time coming for Celtic to play these knockout European ties. How excited are you to see the atmosphere here tomorrow night, and how big a sense of pride will you have leading your team out here against one of the teams, as you say, a team that in this competition to win it? How much pride will you have walking your team out?
Yeah, well, Bayern Munich are one of the one of the giants of the European game. They really are football royalty in terms of what they've achieved over many, many years at this level. So for us to be in a position where we can challenge them is it's a great marker for us. But like I said, I know with our game, we mix up the basics of our game, all our running power and physicality, which is something that we've really improved on at this level. I think that's been, when I look back to 23, 24, that's been a big part of our learning, bringing the physicality to the game and improving in that aspect of it. And I think if we can do that, and with the energy and the support behind us, then anything is possible in the game. So I think what is important for us, that we're very much alive in the tie going over to Germany. I think that would be the key message for us. But we want to go and perform. And we're not frightened to lose. That's not what this is about. This is about going and performing, and if we can perform well, like we've shown in this competition, especially at home, hopefully we can get what we deserve.
Just on that, how important is it to your players that they're not necessarily going out there just to be alive? In 7 days' time, they're going out there to try and win the game, take the game to Bayern Munich here at home.
That's virtually what I said. Yeah, we're here
that is
to
the
win,
message,
of course.
though. Yeah.
Brendan, Callum McGregor said the other day that he thinks you have to win the first leg to have any chance of getting through. Do you go along with that, or do you think maybe it could be tighter than that?
You don't have to, but you want to. I think that would be the message. I think obviously we know going over to Germany, and second leg is always the challenge, being away from home. But I think we would want to. I think that's our mindset. We're going into the game looking to win the game, to see if we can take an advantage across next week.
Can I ask you about Harry Kane? How much you rate him as a player? You've come up against him before. He's top level, obviously.
Oh, he's absolutely brilliant. I've obviously known Harry for a long time and come across him many times. And Harry's actually one of them ones that, until you sort of stood on the side of the pitch and you face him, you actually only really, really then see his level. I know as a young player, he came through the system at Tottenham. Wasn't easy for him at the beginning. He had lots of loans, getting out to clubs, didn't quite work out. And then he was given the opportunity by Tim Sherwood at Tottenham, and from that, Tim had belief in him, had worked with him as a young player, and then once you get into the team, his development has just increased from that. And you look at him now; he's a world-class player. Goals, but he's changed his game a wee bit as well in the last numbers of years, where he's on the move more, dropping short. You see his passing, you see his abilities, but he's also tough. He's a tough boy as well, Harry. So no, I can't speak highly enough of him. I think he was absolutely brilliant at Tottenham. Showed the same for England, and gone out to Bayern, and you just need to look at his goals record. So. No, a fantastic player and a good guy.
When you're that familiar with somebody, Brendan, and Casper's played against him a lot as well, is there any help? Does that help at all when you're up against these kind of elite players and try and cope with them and contain them?
Well, I always think with top players is that it is difficult. You look tactically to find ways, and that's the beauty of the game. You're trying to nullify their strengths. But I sometimes think with the very, very best players, you want to deny them space, but they'll always find space. And that's my experience of working at a level where those world-class players will find the space. So, and I think he's one of those. But of course, we have to look to nullify that threat, of which they have other quality players. then obviously, like I say, bring our game as well, which I've been really pleased with at this level. We've shown that we can hurt teams at this level.
Brendan, just on the news that Dyson is available tomorrow, it's obviously great news for you, but how difficult a decision is it to decide if he plays, where to play him tomorrow, given how in form he's been in both those positions?
It's been pretty straightforward, really. So just having him available was the most important thing.
And the club released really robust financial accounts yesterday. How important is it to you that that money backs you on the pitch now that you've had those results come out?
Yeah, I think the club have done that. I think the club have been very, very supportive of myself coming back. We see some of the signings we made in the summer. So they've been brilliant in that aspect. We as a club, we want to go forward. We all have ambitions to keep, proving ourselves at this level. And for that you need to build and build and build. And also you have to have half a mind on making sure that you're a sustainable club. So I think the from the accounts aspect, it's obviously very, very healthy. Of course, as a manager, we want to put those funds and some of that funds into the team. But you've seen that the club have done that. So and hopefully we can do that going forward.
Is Carter Vickers okay? Is he fit? Is he available? And could his experience, if he is, be kind of crucial?
Yeah, I think he's fit and available. Yeah, we gave a few of the boys a bit of a rest at the weekend, but yeah, he's fine. And like I said, he'll have played against Harry before in training and whatnot. So yeah, he's okay.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi.
Against Aston Villa, Celtic were quite aggressive, pressing very high up the pitch. Feyenoord, however, when they were playing Bayern Munich, they tended to sit back and restrict Bayern some space across the central of the field. What consideration have you made when deciding on how to set up against an organised press, against such a quality opposition?
Yeah, a mixture really. I think if you see the Feyenoord game, at times from a static position they're looking to press. Once the press is broken, then you're recovering behind the ball. So I think our game, absolutely, it needs. When you're playing the really, really top teams, you have to pivot in those strategies in terms of you want to. There has to be moments when you compress the game. And sometimes that's, a lot of the time, it's from that static goal kick position. When you're there, the minute that gets broken, then you got to recover and deny space. So I would think you'll probably see a wee bit of both. I think that's the balance we need in the game. And then when we play and we take the ball, we have to then play with our authority in the game, which is important.
When you're approaching these games, do you look at it from how can you exploit their weakness, or how do you find ways to accentuate our qualities?
It's exactly the same in every single game, whether that's Wraith or Bayern Munich or whatever. You always have to respect the opposition and what their strengths are. So how can you curtail those? But then, really, then we want to always play like a big team, and we want to impose our way in the game. So of course that is very, very important for us. But it's, like in football, it's balance. I always think you defend well, you'll pass well, and thankfully these players are been so good in that aspect from a defensive perspective, and that has given us the platform to play some great football in all the competitions. So it'll be the balance of the game between pressing and then bringing our creativity to the game, and that's our game identity. It's very much about the connection in the team, with and without the ball, being creative, breaking lines, hard running. All these things are all a part of our game.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Brendan.
Sorry.
A few of the players, Brendan, were mentioning the Leipzig game as being a kind of benchmark for yourselves in this competition. What pleased you most about the team performance on that night, and do you think you may have to better that again?
We'll certainly have to be at the same level of that. I think that when I look at everything we played the game technically and tactically at a really high level. From sort of mindset. We were also really good in the game, so having started well and then actually gone behind in the game, how we responded was, I was impressed by that. And then, like I say, the big steps that we've made this season has been in the physical demands of the game, because at this level, it's absolutely critical. So, and that pleased me, because the pressing that we did, if you think of the second goal, it's one of the best goals that we've scored since we've been here. Why? Because it shows a mentality, it shows a real projecting a real positivity to step inside the pressure and win the ball. And so that side of the game is really good. So, and yet we will have to get to those levels again.
Hi, Brendan. Yeah, you mentioned earlier the home form. That's 6 unbeaten now at Celtic Park. It's becoming a difficult place for opponents to go again. How important a factor will the home fans play tomorrow in terms of being patient and understanding the game? It's obviously against our top quality opposition who have a lot of the ball. Do you think the fans have a major factor to play in that?
Yeah, and I think they have done. I have to say, like, I go back to the young boys game here, and I know I'd spoke about that leading into the game, and I thought when it could have got a little bit nervy in the last 15 minutes, the supporters were amazing. They sensed it, and they really got behind the team and lifted the team. So that side is very important, and no, I feel it's great. It's where I wanted to take the club back to, where we come here, and it's not just a tick box exercise for players to come and say they've played at Celtic Park. You want them to hurt in this arena as well, and you want them to find the challenges of that combination between the supporters and the players on the pitch, making it a really, really, really difficult night. And we've started to do that, and obviously this will be a massive test of that. But that's what we sign up for.
Brendan, it's been 7.5 years since we last played Bayern here. What has your evolution as a coach been like, managing the Champions League since then?
It's just experiences. I think that I remember back that game. I thought we played well in the game. We actually we'd went behind, and then we played well, and then we got back into the game at 1 each, and then sadly we didn't keep the game long enough at that scoreline, and very quickly I think it was Kingsley Coman who then ran through and scored the second one. But it was a competitive game, and I think that's been the joy for me to have seen us develop and progress at that level where we are competitive. So I'd expect us to be that tomorrow. In terms of my own experiences, it's just the games, the level is a high level, and you're obviously sometimes you're bringing Celtic into playing against some of these great teams, which is a great privilege for me. But as I've always said, we want to also be competitive at this level, and I think we've shown that. And now can we go forward and sustain that over the coming years?
And you've spoken about specifically Jota and how he needs to physically get up to speed more often. Do you think that he can start the game tomorrow and make a huge impact despite only playing 29 games since departing Celtic?
Okay, you got your pen and a bit of paper. I'll tell you the whole team. He's definitely in the squad, and I think he will do. I think he'll get to the. I've got to say, I've been so impressed with him close up. I'd obviously watched him from the outside. I'd heard some of the players talk about him, but seeing him come in and then seeing him on the pitch, and he's just got quality, star quality written all over him. But he needs to get to a physical level. But that's just time and a bit of support around that, because he hasn't played a great deal. So, but there's absolutely no doubt of his quality, apart from his first touch there the other day.
Brendan, just with Maeda again, were you surprised to win the appeal with me? Obviously played quite a few minutes at the weekend there. Were you surprised when you got the news last night? Some of us were. I
know, I ran their legs off him for 3 games. And well, to be fair, the appeal, it was brilliant by the club, I've got to say, because he was always going to serve 1 game, and then we didn't get the actual, until you then get the sort of written report, which didn't come through to Thursday, Friday last week, then you can't then put in your appealed, but as soon as it did come in, obviously the club put in the appeal, which, with the greatest respect, UEFA, we were thinking that this probably wouldn't bear fruit. And then when I got the call to say he was able to play, I thought, goodness me, he's played the 3 full games. He couldn't have run any more as a striker, as a winger. I played him everywhere. And but thankfully he's just a bundle of energy, so he'll be okay. But sorry, and just answering your question, it was a wee bit of a surprise when it came through, but it wasn't unsurprising because of getting the 2 games. What was that word? It was assault. Aye, the assault was what was it? It wasn't an assault. That was in the report. So I think on that basis alone, the club were great. They appealed it, and thankfully we won.
Brendan, just on Harry, do you remember the first time you saw him as a young player, and or the first time you thought, oh, hang on, this guy's different?
No, I remember him as a youth player, and then going out on loan when he was young. I'd seen him at spells. I think he was at Millwall. He was actually at Leicester as well for a bit. Seen him play at Norwich.
And was there fuss about him then? Was he one of these people?
No.
Right.
No. Harry will tell you himself. He wasn't what I would say the gold medalist. You know, and that's normally the players that do come through anyway. Those silver medalist players, the guys that are having to strive and fight for their careers. Excuse me. And that was Harry, and he would tell you himself. But then he found someone who really appreciated him and backed him in Tim. And Tim was working in the youth at that time. And when Harry, I think, had the chance to go out and loan again, didn't want to go. And Tim put him in the team, and then from that, he's never really looked back. And then it's all about your attitude, your professionalism, your desire to be the best player you can be. And you see all of that. And you see how he's developed, how he's matured, he's training, everything. And I've obviously spoken with my boys that work with him with England as well. And they speak so highly of him. So a world-class player, and he's doing a brilliant job for his team now.
Just touching on what you're saying about running the legs off Daizen Maeda, our pundits on Sports Sound and Sports Team were saying he never looks tired. Is he the fittest, or one of the fittest players you've ever managed, in terms of his running ability, his athleticism?
Yeah, he'd be fine for the game. Don't get me wrong. He'd be absolutely fine. He had a little bit out before those games as well. So he's lots of miles on the clock. But I think to have that. Listen, if you go into the Premier League and down in England, you've the running capacity and physicality that you need for that league. There's players there that have that, of course, but he does all the things that, in terms of what you don't need talent for, he does them to the highest level. All the running, the pressing, and his will to run and run and run is absolutely incredible. And I haven't worked with too many like that. You know, ones that can do it in bursts, of course, and pressure. But for someone the desire to want to run is absolutely at the highest level. So we're very lucky to have him here. He's come in. Ange's done brilliant to bring him in, put him in the team, and he's just keeps continuing to grow and develop. And now you see his composure when he's in front of the goal, scoring goals, all types of goals. And just very, very pleased that he's with us.